I'll just go through some of the items here. Medically, nothing's really drastically changed. We had a couple guys out, Nick Saldivari and Dallas Beanham. Other than that, no concerns. Those aren't long-term things. They just weren't available today. Another good week of practice, another good 3 days, and a little team activity within that. Really appreciate and a ton of respect for the work that these guys have put in. This has been a really good process through this OTA phase, and obviously we'll transition into the mini camp next weekend. So open up for questions.
Do you like what you've seen out of that offensive line, the five, the way you've kind of remained that consistent so far? Do you like what you've seen out of that group?
They've done a really nice job. Really enjoyed their work. Obviously, they're doing everything they can in the capacity of OTAs, and so it's been really good work. Those guys working together is a critical aspect of this thing, and so they've done a nice job. We feel good.
You had talked about some of the communication, some of the nonverbal communication. Would you consider it important to get the guys in spots as soon as possible, get them to know each other as good as you can?
Continuity is always valuable in this space, and so those guys are going to work together a lot. Obviously, we're trying to keep that as consistent as possible. Understanding there's flexibility within this. Things happen. It's long NFL seasons. Those guys are going to have to, someone's going to have to move a spot probably in the middle of the season at some point, and so they'll handle that accordingly.
A new coaching staff, guys coming from all over the place. How is it useful having a guy like Phil Galliano, who's been here 6 years, worked with most of the guys?
Yeah, certainly we were fortunate to be able to keep some coaches here that were in place previously, and so that's always an advantage. Those guys have a great feel for the personnel, certainly the building, and so they're great resources as you kind of navigate that. We have a number of those guys, and Phil's got so much experience around this NFL, and so as we went through the hiring process, Phil just kind of was patient as we went through it. He was an awesome resource. His experience is something we can lean on, and I love the juice and the energy and the presence that he provides us.
You talked about the O-line potentially having to move around and whatnot, maybe as the season goes on. How nice is it to have a guy like Eric with the experience and obviously his ability to be able to kind of anchor that from a leadership standpoint, also from a talent standpoint?
Yeah, the center is a leadership position by nature. There's a lot of communication those guys have to do, and so Eric being there, being the consistent leader that he is, will be a huge advantage for us. Obviously, he's an experienced guy. He's one of the best in the league at what he does, and so we're excited to have him keep continuing to build.
How can you evaluate the D line right now, the defense as a whole, as far as run defense? Where look how the OTA is structured, minicamp and training camp. Are you pleased right now with the personnel, or is that a wait and see if you're going to try and make improvements in that area?
Certainly from a run game perspective on both sides of the football, you're not going to get a real great evaluation this time of year. It's more, hey, are they assignment sound? Do they understand their responsibilities? The execution and what it looks like ultimately won't happen until training camp, but these guys are doing everything they can from a fundamental perspective and individual. Certainly our defensive line, offensive line spend a ton of time on individual. That's really the bulk of their days this time of year, and so it's going to be a growing process as we go through it.
The personnel on the defensive line?
They've done a nice job, yes. They've done a nice job. We've brought in a couple veterans, but also some younger guys who obviously will bring some youthfulness to that position, and we feel like we'll let those guys all compete, and we'll see what happens.
We asked you before about Trevor Penny's move to guard, but out of the selling point last year with the Eagles' offensive line was just the sheer size across the board in all five. Was that also a big factor in having a 6'7" guy go on the inside to add to that girth for the offensive line?
Yeah, I think certainly, you have to be able to anchor in this league in some capacity, and so you're going to get bull rush. If if someone can run through you, there's going to be challenges no matter what the circumstance is. And so Trevor playing a guard, he's got size, he's got mass, he's got physicality that's going to be perfect for that position. And obviously, our experience the last couple spots everyone's been has had those guys go from tackle to guard, so we feel good about the transition.
How's the transition been for, we talk about a new program, you were an offensive coordinator, you kind of know what to do and how to do it, but now as the head coach, there are far more responsibilities. From your time management, how has this process gone during OTAs?
It's a great question. I think it's just a time management part of this process, and so obviously I'm doing everything I can from an offense perspective, but you're part of all three phases, and certainly a lot of the other operations that this organization has, and so you feel like you're teaming up with really, really good people that you can lean into, but it's really fun to connect with the defense, the special teams when you're able to, and really rally behind those guys as well.
What have you learned about College Football Hall of Fame, Chris Peterson? How has he influenced you as a head coach and as a coordinator?
Yeah, I truly believe Chris Pearson's one of the all-time best. not just the on the field, but the way he did it each and every day. And so, that's my foundation. My foundation is, Prosser Mustang football, which was my dad in high school, and then Boise State with Chris Peterson. And so Pete's one of the all-time best. He's still someone that I think a lot of coaches in this profession lean into because of the resource and the experience that he is.
What did you learn about the team, the roster, the building, whatever, through this OTA process? Now you've had a chance to do these guys for
A lot of it's just makeup, getting the right kind of guys in the room, and they're competing their tails off and working really, really hard. And when you see these guys work their tails off, create really, really good habits, and then connect as guys, we feel like we're heading in the right direction. We're ready to go compete, come fall.
You're number 3 for players who were drafted a couple of years ago. Maybe you have struggled, and then players who have played pretty well. So year 3, that where you gauge that in the NFL, they can really get it, and if they play pretty well, that they can dominate in year 3 a little bit.
Yeah, I would just say as we came into this process, it was a blank slate, big emphasis there. Understand we recognize all the things that have happened, good or bad, in the past, and certainly there's plenty of good there. But it's a blank slate for everyone. Everyone has a clean opportunity, clean chance to just go compete, create really good habits, show themselves. And guys in year 3 are certainly guys that have created a routine in the NFL now. They're a couple years in, so they should have a good space to just hone in and focus and put their best foot forward.
The scheme change benefits someone like Kool-Aid McKinstry, just what you guys asking them to do differently, and like the vision, the way you guys want to play zone?
That's a great question. I think for Kool-Aid, it's just continue to grow and develop more on a personal level. And I think, the tools that hopefully we provide from a defense perspective, a couple of the different ways that we can play will allow him to just have more tools in the toolbox, and we'll see what happens.
Would you him as a punt returner? Is that something you guys are interested in?
We'll just navigate that as it continues to grow. We'll see.
How excited are you for fans? I mean, it's the first time people get to see kind of the Kellen Moore era in the 25 edition next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Minicamp open to the public, and so that'll be a fun part of this. And certainly, when we come back in July and training camp's here for, the front end of it, I think it'll be an awesome opportunity for us just to connect with our community, get as many people here as they can, and have a lot of fun doing that.
Your impressions of Alontae Taylor, just the energy, the everything in these 3 weeks. What have you learned about Alontae Taylor in OTAs?
Yeah, I love watching Alontae. He is he's everything you want. He competes every day. He's got juice. He's got energy. He's out there flying around. He can play a number of positions. Just feel like he's going to become a really prominent leader for our team.
A little bit about intangibles, kind of with the OTA structure. Does that change as you get into minicamp?
Minicamp would be very similar to what our OTAs have been. We'll have a few days of that next week, and so it'll be similar structure. Once we get to training camp, obviously, once the pads come on, there'll be a much more physical component.
Do you expect to get Alvin and Tyron back for minicamp?
Yeah, certainly we anticipate minicamp. Everyone will be here.
What are you looking for just at that spot, like behind Alvin, for a backup running back, or just RB2? Like, what are you kind of looking for?
Consistency for the most part. They're all talented runners. They can run the football. They got a good space there. The pass protection's huge, and the consistency.
When you talk about the right people, I know Foster Moore was from here. The fact that he's injured and he's taking part, is that kind of what you're talking about? People that seem to be cut from that kind of cloth?
Foster's one of the all-time best. I have loved every interaction with Foster since I got here. He is everything we want in our program, and so I think he's a great example. He can't do much of anything from a physical standpoint. He's out there every day. He's in every meeting. He's leading the group. He's got a voice, and you hear it in 7-on-7 periods, and he's chewing and yelling at people left and right, and so it's special. I think he's everything we want.
Kevin, going back to the running back room and what you're looking for behind Alvin Kamara, what about Clyde Edwards-Helaire? What has he been doing, and how has he impressed you?
Yeah, Clyde's done a nice job. Just like a bunch of these guys hopped in there. Obviously he can lean into some experience that he has in the NFL, which is great. And we'll just continue to grow and develop there, but feel good with where he's going.
How do you think, you were talking about Kool-Aid with a different scheme and whatnot, what do you think this defensive scheme could do for a guy like Chase Young?
Well, certainly he's going to be a pass rusher, and there'll be some versatile roles that he'll be able to do, and we'll be able to line up in some different fronts and structures and all that fun stuff. But allow him to maximize, be an edge rusher, play with some width, and get after the QB.
Is there a bit of a discovery process on the defensive line at this point, just figuring out what guys can do in this new system?
Yes, absolutely. O-line, D-line, a lot of this is going to get figured out in training camp. That's just the reality of OTAs. And so they're doing everything they can. They're competing. Love the heck out of those guys. And once that comes, we'll get a better feel for them.
I saw you went to Tulane. How was that and your relationship with John Sumrall? You know, kind of same age, kind of up and coming young coaches.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. Obviously, having an opportunity to come down here, connect with John fairly early. Our kids are roughly the same age, and so there's some overlap there. And so what he's doing at Tulane is awesome. It's really, really special. I see the the program that they're becoming, and it was a really exciting opportunity. I went down there and spent a little time with them, and so it was a lot of fun.
Apologize if I missed him out on the field today. Is Quincy Riley close to being able to participate?
Yeah, he's progressed really well. We're heading in the right direction, so it's good.
Did Ruiz miss today because of an injury or?
No. Yeah, Caesar's okay.
Another punt return question. Chris Olave, is that something that you want genuine experience or just look?
Doesn't hurt for guys to get back there and continue to catch them, and so you never know.
What does Gottschall bring to the team with his veteran experience on the D-line?
Yeah, from a physical standpoint, he's a really stout defensive lineman. Been a really, really one of those premier guys in this league for a long time. I think he's a really good example. Sometimes he doesn't have the fancy sack numbers and all those things that maybe are catchy for people. This league's viewed him as a premier interior defensive lineman for a really long time, and so we feel fortunate to have him. His experience, his leadership has been second to none.
Chase is obviously, coming off a year where he had the neck surgery and whatnot going into that season. Now being healthy coming into this year, you mentioned him as a pass rusher. How much do you think his ability can kind of bolster, what y'all want to do, and how much of a boost does he kind of give y'all?
Yeah, I'd just say for Chase, obviously it's a great offseason where he hasn't had to go through the rehab process, the same that he's done in the past, and so he's had a great offseason and he's ready to go.
Chris Olave, just I feel like anytime his name was brought up this offseason, other teams fans can we trade for this guy? What did you kind of make of that discourse a little bit?
I won't worry too much about that. We feel really, really good about Chris. He's had an excellent offseason. He's had an excellent career so far, and he's going to have an excellent future.
Is it a compliment to him, though, that he has that skill set?
People want good players, and so they're always chasing and finding ways to get good players on their team, and we feel like we got a good one in him.
Where do you feel, obviously the last time we saw him, he was dealing with a concussion issue, and we just didn't know where that was going to go last year. How have your kind of experiences gone with him in that? Because I know you talked to a lot of specialists about it.
Yeah, I've had great interactions with Chris. He's done an excellent job. I mean, he's been here just about every day, and so he's done an excellent job, and I feel great.
Obviously on social media. I saw where Archie was here. I know you went to the Manning Passing Academy. How nice is that for him to come in and just talk to the young quarterbacks in some way?
Archie is awesome. He's one of the all-time best player and person, and we all know that. And so it was really cool to have him come down and spend the day with the team. He broke the team down, shared a few words, and connected with those guys. And so it's really cool, especially from a quarterback perspective. A lot of us have gone through that Manning Passing Academy and the impact it's had on not just this community, but college football and certainly quarterback play across this entire country. It seems like most of these quarterbacks, even coming out of the draft, they've all been through that experience. And so Archie's one of the all-time best.
OTAs were wrapping up the OTA session, but how do you feel about where Shuck and Spencer and Ross Roswell in the offense?
Yeah, the Hughes has done a really nice job. I think their mental capacity, their ability to communicate has been at a really high level, and I've been really appreciative of that, because that's sometimes when you're a younger player, that's a lot of the challenges, is just navigating all that. And so they've been out there competing, doing an excellent job. I think we got a bunch of younger guys, but really good guys. They're wired the right way in that quarterback room.
When the fans do come next week, is there something you want them to learn or observe about the way you guys practice or set the tempo or anything like that?
I think they'll see a team that's competing, having fun. Hopefully there's juice, there's energy. I think that's the big part of this thing is we're all in this thing together, So hopefully we provide them an opportunity to come hang out with us for a few days. And certainly as we navigate this thing come Sundays in the fall, we'll be needing them as well.
Did you have to sign off on Kool-Aid switching to 4?
He was fired up, so he looks good.
Kellen, what's your view with Juwan Johnson, the tight end? In the past, here he goes from receiver to tight end, and he's had outstanding months, and then he's disappeared. Or how could you get with him to have maybe that complete season and contributing throughout the season?
I can't account for the past, but what Jawan's done this offseason has been excellent. He has not lost any of that receiver skills. That's pretty evident when you see him out there moving, and just the ability to move as a bigger body. And so we feel like he's going to be an awesome asset for us. He's going to make some big-time plays in the pass game, and he's willing to get dirty in the run game, which is special.
What have been your impressions of Peoples-Jones?
Yeah, done a nice job. Obviously, a great example of coming to the rookie minicamp, just hopping in there, doing everything he could, then earning the opportunity to stay here. And so, he's a depth player. Obviously, he's got experience in this league. He's done a good job.
This might be a dumb question. The names on the back of the practice jerseys are not something that they had in the past. Is that a you thing? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, we just put them on the back just for, make sure everyone knows each other.
How would you say, as we get into more practices, are you very particular about how things run, like specific things like that, or how do you kind of structure your practices?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time preparing how practices are going to go. We spend a lot of time just on the logistics, so they're efficient, they're clean. For these players, we want to maximize their opportunities. We don't want to waste their time. And so, we got a bunch of really good guys. I mean, from a jersey standpoint, Bum's one of the all-time best in this league, and so we feel fortunate to have him too.
Were you forgetting any names or anything? You just needed the clarity on the jerseys and something?
Figured why not throw them on there. They've earned it.
Just because you circle back to Foster, because you seem kind of enthusiastic speaking about him, what did you think about the circumstances of his injury, trying to make a play at the end of the last game of the season for a 5-win team, and how does that affect your impression of him as a player and his character?
Yeah, I just think Foster's everything we want in Saints football. He's the excellent leader, the excellent example in the community. He works his tail off. Again, everything he's done in this offseason has helped our football team, and when his opportunity presents itself, you have 100% confidence that he's going to be ready to rock and roll and go out there and compete for us again.
Is he coming off an ACL?
What's that?
Is he coming off an ACL?
He's just coming off the knee, yeah.
How much have you enjoyed the community events you've been?
That's right.
How much have you been enjoying the community events you've been doing? I saw you did some painting the other day and things like that to get into the.
We've had a lot of fun, just opportunities to connect as a team, and then this past week having a chance to connect with the community. They're always special opportunities. Again, quickly realize as I've moved here, this is a special community, and the more we can connect, the more we're going to build this thing together.
Will your mini camp practices look different than these, or do you expect it to be sort of a continuation of this?
They'll be very similar.
How do you guys weigh a mistake, looking at the quarterbacks? We come out, it's he threw a pick or whatever. How do you guys weigh mistakes within kind of what you're looking at right now?
Yeah, mistakes are mistakes, but we also acknowledge mistakes are part of this process. We're not to Sundays in the fall, and so you make mistakes, you get to learn from them, and hopefully we're not seeing a repeat pattern. That's the goal for everyone, and so.
What's kind of the most common mistake you're seeing right now from the quarterbacks, or something that they've grown from?
I think it's just working through progressions and sometimes not getting stuck on things, which is natural for all guys.
Do you have a favorite restaurant yet?
I gotta give Desi some love, so he'd be mad at me if I didn't. So that was good. Awesome. All good. Appreciate it. Thank you.